it's a tough drug to get off of because it's so, uh, and it doesn't matter that it's legal in California and some other states. That the legality has nothing to do with the harm that it can do, and hopefully people will outgrow it. You can outgrow it, but when you do outgrow it, you're still physically addicted. So you need help. I mean, a good therapy, good meetings. There's no replacement for it like there is for opiate. You can't start doing Suboxone or another drug for marijuana. When you're hooked on marijuana, you're fucked.
I held the weight of the world in my hands, but I let it go. Now I understand. I'm awake, I'm aware, I'm alive. I'm living my best recovered life.
You're listening to the Recovered Life Show, the show that helps people in recovery live their best recovered lives.
And welcome back to the Recovered Life Show. I'm so happy to have my guest on. You made it on, Leonard Buschel. He's the author of High. It's so glad to have you on, Leonard.
Well, thank you, Damon, for inviting me. And I'm very excited to hear what we both have to say in the next 20 minutes.
You know, I always have good conversations with you. I know you personally, and I was excited to have you on the show. You wrote a book called High, From Cannabis to Clarity. There it is. Phenomenal book, and we're going to put links in the show notes here to everyone so they can see it and experience it. It's great. And I know your work a lot in recovery has to do with people that later in life will shift to casual marijuana use into dependency. And I was hoping we can kind of jump into this. Why is this important? Because until I spoke with you, I had no idea that this was as big of a problem as it is.
Well, it's only a problem if people want to stop and find out that they can't. Smoking marijuana itself is not a problem unless you want to quit and you find out that you can't. So my experience was that I never thought I had a problem smoking marijuana until actually a few years after I quit. I didn't want to admit that I'd smoked every day of my life for 26 years, never went a day without it except for 3 weeks when I went to Japan. And that was the only country I was too afraid to take my own marijuana. Thank you, Paul McCartney, for that, if you remember. But when I would go to Jamaica, I would take my own weed because it was an hour taxi ride from the airport to my hotel. And I couldn't go that hour, even though they have the best marijuana in the world, more or less, in Jamaica and Hawaii. I couldn't go anywhere without weed. And I just thought it was the way that a lot of, it seemed quite natural. I started smoking hashish as a teenager. And when I was in my first year in college in Philadelphia, it turns out that there was not just a shortage of hashish, but a dearth. There was no hashish in New York or Philadelphia from anybody I knew. And my friend and I, we looked on the map and we saw that Lebanon was right next to Israel. And we were smoking red Lebanese hash at the time. And we thought, well, somebody must be bringing over some hash into Israel. Well, somebody must own a camel that they're using to smuggle hashish. So I dropped out of college and went to Israel to smuggle back hashish. Our friends thought we were doing it to make money. Our family thought we were going to Israel to discover our roots. We were just going to get our stash.
Did you realize that this was starting to become an obsession with you at the time, or did you just think, hey, I'm young, this is a way to make money, this isn't a big deal?
Obsessions can be very fulfilling. If you have an obsession for something positive, people who who are, any Olympiad is obsessed with their sport, right? And so I was obsessed with getting high. And we went to Israel and sure enough found the right people and ended up smuggling it back into Kennedy. And God knows what would have happened if we got caught smuggling it back in.
Yeah.
And luckily we didn't. I could probably still be in jail. And I remember the last quarter ounce of hash I was selling in Philadelphia. I was in a friend's basement and there were two guys there ready to buy the hashish. But instead of offering me money, one took out a revolver and put it to my head. The other one took out an automatic pistol, put it to my heart, and said, we're taking your hashish and any money you have with you. And I had $200 with me. And they walked me to my car. And I remember getting in the car, driving away, thinking, oh my God, I will never deal in this neighborhood again because it's a dangerous neighborhood. It's called Kensington and Allegheny. I'm sure anybody
Mhm.
from Pennsylvania knows about. Anyway, so that's how I dealt with it. I decided never to deal in that neighborhood again. But the idea of quitting never even occurred to me. It was how I made a living. It was what I did, and it was great. And it's covered in the book pretty extensively with more interesting, sexy, funny details. So
Do you feel that do you feel like what I see a lot when I'm doing TikTok lives and on the Recovered Life show and just talking with people in and out of 12 step meetings and in life, I see an obsession with cannabis a lot with younger people.
Mhm.
One that it's healthy, and I think a lot of the propaganda that we have in California is that it's good for you, that
I
it's a
never heard
nash.
that. I
Oh,
never heard that.
I hear this all the time. It's good for you, that it cuts down your anxiety and depression, and that it's
Well,
a great all natural tool.
right.
I hear
Or
this constantly,
the
but
opposite.
now it's
Yeah.
come out like just this week they did a huge study with 8,000 teens and
Hmm.
people in their early 20s that it does the absolute opposite. It's
Yes.
horrible for your mental health. It's
Hmm.
horrible for anxiety. It's horrible for depression, and it's very addictive.
And it can also lower your motivation to accomplish anything. Everything is copacetic and nothing is important anymore. And of course, driving skills, I don't think improve when you're high on marijuana. I know there's signs, there's billboards, buzz driving is drunk driving. So that's obviously true. And I've read some studies recently cause neck and lung cancer,
Yeah.
neck cancer, which I hadn't known. And it's not good for you on any level, I don't think. And I don't know people who could just get high once a week. I mean, that's God bless you. If you can go to a concert once a week and just get high for the concert and not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, that's cool. That's like drinking on the weekends. That's not nothing wrong with that either. It's just drinking every day would
Exactly.
become
Look, not
addictive.
everybody is an addict and alcohol. Like we'd be the first to admit, not everybody's an alcoholic and addict. Most people are not. I know you're super passionate about old the boomers specifically
Hmm. Hmm.
getting sober now that
Hmm.
are addicted to cannabis. Can we talk about this a little bit? Because I did not know that this was such a big problem. Is it people who just took it at the concert and then started taking it more and then something happened in their life and they become addicted to it? Who is the person that you help for the most part? Like explain
Well, one of
why
the
this is a
purposes of
chronic
writing the
condition.
book was for people who are now in their 50s, 60s, or 70s who are smoking by rote. They're smoking, they're not getting high anymore. They're just not suffering from THC withdrawal, which can be miserable. If you know anybody who's quit, it takes almost a month to completely feel normal again. And like I said, when you're 50, 60, 70, you're not smoking to get high anymore. You're smoking because it's a habit the way you would cigarettes, or something like that. And I just think they didn't get the memo. It's like Alan Watts said about LSD. When you get the message, hang up the phone. But it's hard to hang up the phone when it's uncomfortable. For weeks on end, I have some close friends who were in their 60s who quit. The sleep patterns are off, the eating patterns are off, everything is funky for at least a week or so. I guess going to a marijuana anonymous meeting helps because there's other people in the room who've experienced the same sensations or uncomfortable feelings. So it helps to do that. And if there's any, and I know they're online as well. MA meetings are online. There's a terrific one in Los Angeles for anybody that's out here at 5:15 on Friday at a place called Radford on Van Nuys Boulevard. But I know your show is more national, so I want to keep it to wherever you
Yeah.
are.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are, it's worth giving it a shot. Your whole life will change when you're no longer addicted to marijuana. The clarity that comes after the first couple of weeks is astounding. You will see the way you saw colors and heard music better 30, 40 years ago, that will happen again. You will see brighter colors, you'll hear music more clearly once you're not addicted to marijuana anymore.
Leonard, I have to talk about this because I see this, I've seen this in my inner circle of people that have been in recovery for a long period of time. Maybe somebody like me who, suffered from alcoholism, has been sober for a long period of time.
Hmm.
I have known many people in my inner circle who decided after years of other drug and alcohol abuse
Yeah.
that they were going to pick up marijuana because they thought it was safe. And I've seen these people go from a hard burn, like
Uh-huh.
really, because alcohol will take you out fast if you're a big drinker. Certain drugs, fentanyl, cocaine, they can escalate very quick. But I've seen them now move from sobriety to what I call a slow burn. It's not as drastic, the ramifications as they have, but slowly I see their life being sucked out of them. And most of these people are over the age of 50 and they have over 20, 25 years of sobriety before they pick up marijuana. And I've
Uh-huh.
seen this and I've seen it literally take their life
Mm.
step by step by step. I don't think people understand the impact and the addiction that people can have to THC, that it does have ramifications for you.
Yes, there are definitely negative consequences, and that's uh, unfortunate that people who, I guess they call that California sober.
The California sober, yes.
Who was that? Demi Lovato who coined that phrase initially. It certainly wasn't Britney Spears.
No, we need to
Was-
we need to eradicate it because for one, they're usually not in California, and they're two, they're not sober. But what do you think of that? Like, do because I've seen this a lot. I've a matter of fact, I at one point said this is an epidemic, and it usually came on to treat a mental health issue that was not treated in early recovery.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't really comment on other people's usage. It's not my business. I would hopefully my Lyft driver is not high on weed, but otherwise to each his own.
Yes,
Personal,
yes.
you have the freedom to thrive and you have the freedom to survive and you have the freedom to whatever the opposite of thrive and survive is.
What do you say to people who are over 50 and maybe they've been smoking since they've been a teenager, and they're like, there's all these new ways to do it, vape pen, brownies, all these new ways to get high. And they say, you know what, this is just me. I'm 65, I'm 70 years old now. I see that it is affecting my life, but I don't think I can quit. I don't think it's possible to quit. I mean, what do you say to people like that? Because I'm sure you hear
So
this.
I hand them this book, okay? and I tell them my experience of how much better I felt when I quit, which is now similar to you, like 30 some years ago. Uh, I have fond memories that I can sometimes appreciate as far as the old days. I think 25 is like, smoking before 16 is really damaging your brain and will stifle the growth. As a teenager, your brain isn't still fully formed, which is when most people start smoking. Sort of at 25, your brain is complete. Uh, and maybe at that point, it wouldn't be as harmful unless it becomes addictive. Unless you start smoking at 25 once a week and then it becomes, you know, twice a week and then it becomes every day. It's a tough drug to get off of because it's so, uh, and it doesn't matter that it's legal in California and some other states. That the legality has nothing to do with the harm that it can do. And hopefully people will outgrow it. You can outgrow it, but when you do outgrow it, you're still physically addicted. So you need help. I mean, a good therapy, good meetings. There's no replacement for it like there is for opiate. You can't start doing Suboxone or another drug for marijuana. When you're hooked on marijuana, uh, you're fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
You really are just as powerless as any other drug. And I think people are becoming more and more aware of this. Although there's a lot of misinformation out about marijuana, I think there's a lot of it, and it's now a big business. Marijuana is a big business in California specifically. And I know you
Damon,
like,
Damon, as an ex-drug dealer, it was always a big business.
yes, it was always a good business. Yes. But now it's a now it's a big legal business, which is even more of a nightmare. You can't walk down the street. I told somebody this in a live the other day. I literally went outside my house. I walked down the street. I 3 or 4 people were smoking, literally just walking by. I get in the car, I go somewhere, I get out, I go into the store, I smell it, somebody's smoking in front of the store. It's literally everywhere. Do you see marijuana becoming more of a crisis, Leonard? Because
I
I
want to
do.
live,
Maybe we just never saw it before.
I want to live on your block.
Oh my God, I'm telling you, it's everywhere in Los Angeles that I go. I can't go to a place that I don't smell marijuana everywhere.
The first time when I quit, the first concert I went to when I quit was at the Oakland Coliseum. It was Seal and the Rolling Stones. And I wore a scarf, a thick wool scarf around my face because I was afraid that one whiff I'd be scoring again because I was off it for like a month. And then I went to this concert. I thought, oh God, one. Now I like it when I walk by somebody smoking. It's sort of like a 30-second freebie, so to speak. Like,
It's
oh,
a
it
freebie.
smells good. It's so sweet. It's so delicious. I don't want it in my house, but if I walk by it, I can appreciate it.
And it doesn't trigger you at all?
Not at all. No, not at this point, not after 30
Well,
years.
it's so funny because I said, if we were walking around the world, if I was walking around the world taking a little glass of Jim Beam and just splashing it in their face, misting it in people's face, people would be so upset about that. They're like, somebody might be a recovered alcoholic or be
Yeah,
allergic to it. With marijuana, though, I notice no one cares. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
yeah. Now I look forward to going to concerts.
Now you look forward to going to concerts. So,
So
in
I have to tell
closing,
you,
Leonard, I have to ask you this. I know there's people that listen to the show and they're tuning in specifically for this because they're maybe over 50 and they're like, man, I've tried to get sober. I can't do it. And they're now starting to wake up a little bit and say, maybe I am addicted to this. I thought it was my cousin or my neighbor who had an alcohol, but I'm the one that has a problem. And they don't feel they can get sober. What do you tell that person that doesn't feel that they can do it?
I don't know. I wouldn't know what to tell. Don't be such a defeatist. You can
Don't
do
be such a
anything. You're
defeatist.
fucking God in the flesh. You can do anything, especially something that's harming you and then is preventing you from being your most soulful, spiritual, alive self. Quit. Everybody can quit. Everybody can quit.
Is
It's
it worth
hard.
it? Is it
It,
worth it for the
oh
people
my
who are
God.
listening?
The rewards are beyond anything I can explain, although I tried to explain it a little bit in the book. That's why it's called From Cannabis to Clarity, because that's what you get with it. And maybe this is not a good time on planet Earth in the United States of America to be very clear. I mean, if you could walk outside right now and you look at a headline, you want to go back to bed or shoot some heroin in your eyeballs or something, which I wouldn't recommend because the eyeballs are very sensitive. A good vein might work. Uh, so the last chapter is Betty Ford died sober. I should be so lucky. And I think I will be that lucky. I can't see anything happening that's going to make me want to smoke marijuana again. Uh, I can't imagine, no matter what, which is I'm grateful for because, like I said, for 26 years, it was only, I did cocaine for 13 years, every single day. I mean, I was moderate with my use, and which is why I could use it for 13 years straight, every single day. But it was only the 13th year that I thought I was an addict. Because for the first 12 years, every time I did a line or a spoon, I did it because I wanted to. I wanted to. But the 13th year, I'd wake up on a Friday morning and think, I'm not going to get high this weekend. And like by Friday night, I was getting high. And that scared me. That was the first time any addictive habit scared me. And then I was luckily found out I could snort ecstasy. And so I replaced one white powder with another one. And you can't do ecstasy every day because it will mess you up in
Yeah.
so many ways. Once a week, it's fine. But that helped me get off of cocaine. But I don't know if there's anything that can help you get off marijuana other
You're
than,
just going to have to do it, right? You're just going to have to buck up and do it.
yeah, I don't even think a little extra sugar will help. Or
Leonard
or
Buschel, thank you
or a
so much
double
for
espresso.
thanks so much for coming on the show. I super appreciate you. Guys, pick up the book High from Cannabis to Clarity. We're going to put links in the show notes so that you could do it.